appreciative that you started this thing. Like we need it for
No,
real.
hey, no problem, dude. Hey, so hope hey, back at you guys, man. We coming nonstop. We got my boy Brian with me, man. How you doing today, bro?
Man, it's good, man. It's a pleasure to be here, man. Colorado's really nice, so I'm enjoying the weather.
All right, hey, one thing, man, I saw on your Facebook. Don't mention the Eagles, bro. You know, I might have not talked with you before. Like when if I already knew that about you, I might have said I can't, I'm
You might
busy.
have said,
Nah,
"Oh
I'm
no,
from. I used to like the Patriots, man, but you know Brady rolled out and stuff like that. Times have changed, but you know now y'all got a good squad though, man. But
no, man. Look, hey, man. See, now you're good with me because you didn't say Cowboy fan. Then we
nah,
might
dude.
would
I
have had
mean,
to
back
end
in the
this
day, like
early,
when we were kids, everyone that was Emmitt Smith, Troy Aikman days. That's a little bit different,
right?
but them boys fell off, man. You know, so
Yeah, yeah. They got a ride or die fan club, and I lived in
always.
Texas, so it was dangerous as an Eagle fan living in Texas. I don't
Oh
know. I
yeah.
made it out of there though.
Oh, you good then? You good then? So, hey, so this we're coming at you guys live with another episode of military to civilians. You know our struggles within or without. So, hey, Brian, if you don't mind, let everyone know like where you from. You know why you joined the service. Give us a little bit of backstory on that. Like where'd you get deployed to? If you did, you know where'd you get stationed? Some goods and bads of your first couple years in.
Okay, well, so I was born in Maryland. I was in living in Virginia when I joined, and at the time, my uncle was a recruiter, and he was like, "Hey, man, I can get you set up with a good deal. Come up here." And he actually did get me set up with a good deal. Like he got me like a 4 year, like $40,000 deal. And I'm
Okay.
like, okay, bet. Like this is real good. But I ended up joining and I met some really cool people and I stayed. So I was a 63 golf at first, which is fuel and electrical, and then it changed over to 91 hotel, which is uh track vehicle repair. So I did that for the majority of my career. My first duty station was Fort Carson. Uh,
Okay.
I I went from Fort Carson to Korea. Um, I went from Korea to Germany, and then I went from Germany to Fort Hood, which was my last duty station. In between
Well,
those times, I deployed 4 times. I did 3 times in Iraq and 1 time in Afghanistan.
oh man, what part of Germany were you in?
I was in Baumholder, which is death to any so like it looked like Transylvania when I went there. I was like it just seems like you're so far away from everything and everyone else that's in Germany is having a great time and you're like, man, I'm always either in the field or getting out of the field to get deployed. Like I didn't have any
Bro,
fun.
you must have forgot about Vilsek and Hohenfels because I was in Vilsek, man. I was in Germany too, but man, we were on the we were close to Czech and you close to the train station and stuff like that, which is not bad. But man, you were over by Ramstein, Mannheim, Frankfurt, but I guess you were just like they call. I talked to Joe earlier, man. He was a lieutenant. He was in Germany too back in the day. He said the Rock, right? That's what they call bomb holder.
Yeah, yeah, the rock.
There you
Yeah,
go.
the rock. And that's what it feels like. I mean, it was just a lot of like on and off. Like either you were headed to Hohenfels or you was coming from it, or you getting ready to load up to head out, or you was coming back. So
Yeah.
it was very rare. I think out of the entire I want to say 3 years I was there, I think maybe like on ground, not deploying or in the field was maybe 4 or 5 months, and not consecutively, where I was actually like at home, coming home at a decent time. Because I'm like, literally, we were working because we were so far away from the flagpole. They would have us in the motor pool until I don't know 1900, and
Dang.
everybody's already at home with their family grilling out, and I'm coming home just dragging, and I'm like, man, this place is horrible. Like I wanted to leave Germany so bad. The food and the beer was amazing, but man, the training that I went through there, I was like, oh gosh, get me out of here.
Yeah. So how long did you end up doing in the army?
So I ended up being I did 13 years active duty. And then I just got caught up in the drawdown that they did back in 2013. But because I was still able to serve, they allowed me to do like a transition from active to reserves. So at the time I was in Fort Hood. So I got out off active duty in 2014, and then I transferred over to the reserves in San Antonio. For like I had signed up for 6 years, so I was going to do six there, and that ended up kind of getting cut short due to like medical issues.
Okay. What did so when you were getting off active duty into the reserves, did you have a plan, or did you know what that was going to look like before it happened? A job lined up, school lined up, anything like that?
Well, the crazy part was like, no, I didn't, because literally, they called me in to go see the battalion sergeant major just out of the blue. They're like, "Oh, go see the BCSM," and I'm sitting there freaking out. So I'm like, "Okay, what did my soldiers do? What? Did something come up? As far as I know, I'm running a clean ship here."
Yeah.
So I pull up and they go, "Hey, this is nothing on on what you've done. You just kind of got pulled up into the drawdown at the time. We were really heavy in Afghanistan, and they weren't really using track vehicles in Afghanistan because they couldn't handle the hills. The tracks would just slip off, and we'd have a lot of rollover stuff. So because they weren't using track mechanics, and there kind of was a funnel in the motor pool when it comes to track and wheel, once you hit staff sergeant, because there's only one slot up, which is to be the motor pool, the motor sergeant.
Okay.
But everybody's battling for that. So
Right.
they were like, "Well, look, we need these wheel guys. So all of these staff sergeants that haven't, if they aren't in school, or if they aren't aren't promotable, then we're gonna you just got to get out." So just out of the blue, they go, "Hey, you got a year to figure it out. You can reclass. You got 30 days to reclass, or you got to get out." I couldn't reclass due to the MOSs that they were given as options, because the majority were special forces. And
Right.
I am no special force guy. I was old staff sergeant. I was already on that track of like, yeah, I'm gonna make seven. I'm gonna do a little bit of school, and then I'm gonna retire type thing. I'd already reached 10 years at that time.
Okay.
So I didn't have a plan at all. But my unit, understanding the situation, they allowed me to kind of just go to school. So I went to school for I went to school for that year I had before I was about to get out. And so I did school, got my associate's degree from Central Texas, and I didn't really have anything after that. But lucky enough, like while I was doing school, I was talking with other with like the civilians that were working on posts
Okay.
in the motor pools, and I'm like, "Hey man, is your company hiring? Are they? Because I'm getting ready to get out. I'd like to keep doing my mechanic thing." And lucky enough, there was somebody that was like, "Hey, yeah, we're getting ready to bring in a lot of people. Go ahead, fill out the application." And I was able to secure a job like 3 to 4 motor pools down from my actual motor pool that I just left from. So I was lucky in that sense. But I didn't have a plan at all. I got out. I did my transition. Lucky enough, I had enough transitional leave that could cover my family, which I'm married. I have a daughter.
Okay.
And at the time, I think she was maybe 10. And I'm sitting here trying to figure out, like, I'm the only one really. I'm paying all the bills. How am I supposed to make this happen? And lucky enough, I was able to get a job working as a contractor.
Okay.
And that led to me getting another, like, transitioning from that to getting a job working in Kuwait as a contractor, which was like, it was hard work, but the money was good. It definitely helped out in the situation. But I understand, like, I was lucky in that sense of like somebody put me in front of somebody else, and I was able to kind of network and kind of sell myself to be like, "Hey, I'm the guy that you want," and I was able to get the job. But it still was pins and needles the entire time, because I was set. I had this idea that I was going to retire. I came in at 18. I figured I was going to just retire, and that was the goal. And then all these things kind of happened right in the middle.
Yeah, and what? But at least you were being proactive by trying to put yourself in front of people and asking the right questions. If you wouldn't have done that, you might have never got that break getting that contracting job, right?
No, definitely, because like it's when you do your transitional like the briefings that you have to do,
Yeah,
you aren't you're just given a whole lot of stuff all at
right.
once. And a lot of us are already in the mentality of I'm just ready to get out. I want to turn in my TA 50 that hopefully doesn't get kicked back.
Number one. That's the number one thing. That's the number one thing
Yeah,
everyone dreads, dude. Seriously, CIF.
yeah.
Oh, seriously.
That Camelback or those canteens for some reason just aren't clean enough. But and you're just ready to get that D 214 and just get off base, get out of that uniform. So
Right.
you aren't really paying a whole lot of attention, and they're giving you so much information. It's hard to take it all in. So even when I got out, I went to my appointment. That initial appointment that they give you to the VA.
Yeah.
But I walked away from that with like 40% um disability, even though I thought I had, I didn't, I didn't want to sell anything. I just felt like, hey, you know, I'm gonna leave the benefits for the guys that really need the benefits. I'm still trying to be hood, not understanding that I'm losing out on the benefits that are there for me.
Yeah.
But then I
Exactly.
walked away 40%, and that was the reality check of like, hey, the only person that's going to fight for me is me. And it took a while to get there, but I got there. But it's important to ask as many questions as you can, because there's a lot of things that you just won't know when you get out. It is a bit of just trying to navigate it all.
No, you're absolutely right, man. And I don't be like me and don't not go to your appointment with that VA, because you can go like what 60 or 90 days or out or so 100. I don't know. You can pretty much get your VA claim rolling when you're like on active duty still. That's something I didn't even know about, man. Like I had stuff in my medical record, but I just didn't get that claim rolling. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, no. If there's anything like immediate that everyone should know when they're transitioning out, is like get a copy of your medical records, get into the VA system, and get the ball rolling,
yeah,
because those things are important to have. Like you can say that something happened, but if it's not on paper, then you have no good luck. And then try to, wherever you may be, try to find the nearest VFW, the nearest DAV, a disabled was it disabled
Veterans of
armed
America.
Veterans of
Yeah,
America.
yeah,
Like try to
yeah.
get
All
into
that.
those places, because they have people there to help with the way that your claims need to be written. Because I tried
Right,
doing it myself and it got kicked back, and then
right.
I went in there and they were able to get my stuff all the way straight through, and the process moves way faster than it used to move when I got out. It used to take almost 6 months. Now you can get your status gets updated within the 30 days, which is great. But it is you have to put that pride and all that away and understand, like, hey, you got the army, the military did do something to you.
Yeah,
They changed you.
right.
And there nobody is going to be there to take care of you but you, and you've got to get in there no matter how difficult it may be, no matter how many times you get kicked back. Keep going, because it's yours. It's there for you.
Right. So what? So you got friends and stuff like that that got out and that are sort of doing the same thing that trying to work with today, or that just seems like you're beating a dead bush on the disability concept.
Yeah, and like I said, and sometimes it can be frustrating, because you're like, bro, I'm still trying to cover your six. I would never put you in a position that I've never been through, and I'm telling you, like, it's worth it. I'm like, I understand. Like, a lot of some of my buddies that got out, they really got out with that really bad taste in their mouth from the military, and I was like, this is different, man. This is not that. This is not Sergeant so and so or Commander so and so or First Sergeant so and so who did you wrong. This is about you. This is about fighting for these benefits. And I always hit them with the, you don't like extra money? It's
Yeah.
extra money. It's a free check. You might have to do some paperwork, and you might have to do a couple of appointments to get to where you need to. But in the end, it's worth it. Once you get to that 100%, it really does. The benefits really do open up. Whether for your state, covering state your property taxes.
Yeah.
My daughter gets to go to college for free. I got TRICARE for life. So whenever my wife or my daughter have to go to an appointment, that's a $20 deductible. And if anybody knows about paying or health insurance, $20 deductible, you can't beat that. You can't find that with most of the insurance that's provided out here. I have benefits, which is a program that helps with dental and vision, because dental and
Right.
vision is not covered under TRICARE for
Right.
your family members. So benefits, I pay $150, and that covers them, and their deductibles are fairly cheap for dental and vision, which are other things that are expensive. But it wasn't until I finally got there to the percentage that I need to get to realize, like, hey, these benefits they aren't just for me. Like, they help my family too.
Exactly.
Life insurance, all of those things.
How did you know that you had to make that jump from your initial percentage to get like over the hump and like get where you needed to be or where you were supposed to be? Like what drove you to do that?
Well, it was a little bit of like what people, what a lot of the old NCOs that I had in were always telling me, um, you know, try this thing. Hey, do you snore a lot? Well, if your wife tells you you snore, go in for sleep apnea. There right now, that's 50%.
Yeah, and
Go
they're
do
trying to
that.
do away
Or
with that, I think, honestly. Or I've been hearing something. I gotta look that up for current events. But dude, just on that real quick, I would actually that's a good point because I was gonna say it earlier. Dude, when you're in the service, get a sleep study done. Like you can still get it done when you're out. I did it, so you don't think like listen to everyone says you can't get sleep apnea when you're at the military connected like to your military service. You most certainly can, but it's a little bit more work. So like do yourself a favor. If you're still in the military, just go get the sleep study done. I think now they even like have ones you can like bring home with you. I don't know if they're doing that like in service or just at the VA, but yeah, go ahead, man. Take it away. You're right on point though.
no, you're right. I was lucky enough. Somebody, one of the NCOs that I was really that was in my little circle. He told me to go get the sleep study,
Okay.
and I got the sleep study right before I got the sleep study while I was on transitional leave. Because while you're on transitional leave, you're still active. You're still considered active duty until that final date. Um, so I went and got the study, and that came back to help me. Because when
Okay.
I actually did go to file for it, because I didn't file for it when I initially got out, I
Right.
just went straight to work. So
Right.
then when I needed that percentage, I was able to go back into my medical records and go, hey, I got this while I was still on active duty. So this is service connected by my active duty service.
Yeah.
And it ended up, benefiting me. So it's like, yeah, like do those things, get those things documented. Like, don't just try to push through and be strong. And anytime you go to sick call and all of those things, make sure that stuff is in your medical records, and do not walk off of that base without your medical records in hand, whether it's in a CD, whether it's in paper format, however they do it. Do
Yeah.
not leave without having it, because the base only holds records for a certain amount of time before they send that to the National Archives, and then you have to go and request that, and that is a whole different ball game. You can
Yeah.
save yourself the stress by just making sure, hey, along with getting your checklist signed off for your DD 214, go and make sure you go to the hospital and ask for request your medical records. You can fill out a form right there, and they should be able to either print it out or give it to you on a CD, and keep that CD. I still have my CD, and I've been out
Same. I
since
got mine too, bro. Got
I
mine.
don't play around. I still got mine. And it's come to, I've had situations where I've had to go back and pull in on that information to prove something to kind of get that percentage. So I went from 40, I got the sleep apnea, then I was able to push that. I pushed, from 40 to what was it, like 70.
Okay.
So it was just, if you're not getting that 100% straight out the gate, you got to kind of, you know, 10% up. Because a lot of people don't know that in order to get 100%, you have to be over 100% on paper. Because
Yeah.
you have to be at like almost 50%, I think, to be considered 100% by the VA or by DOD or however
Yeah, they
that
got a
works
weird.
out.
Yeah, they got some weird formula. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's a weird formula. So it's like if you might be 60%, they might say you have 60%, but that might be only like 30% on paper. So um it is a bit of a climb to kind of get all the way to 100%, but it is worth it once you get there.
Hey, so do you think you slow? Do you think you didn't really do the sleep apnea claim because you got straight off into a contracting job and then you went to Kuwait and stuff like that, and then did you sort of leave that job and say, hey, let me reopen the case on the disability because now I'm not making that money, or what that look like?
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. That was exactly what happened. Like when I got off of active duty, I got out. I was staff sergeant. I think I was like 32. I'm in shape. I'm fit, and I'm still in that work, work, work mentality.
Right.
So as soon as I got out and I found another job, I was working in a motor pool. I was doing exactly what I was doing when I was in. So I was carrying myself like I was still in. I'm still, showing the work up on time, and
Yeah.
I'm not cutting my hair and all these other things, but I was still with that military mindset of like,
Right.
when you push to get the mission done, you drive past, you push all that pain and stuff aside, and you do what you got to do to get there. But after once I got the job, the contract, and go overseas, the VA let me know that I wasn't going to be able to, like they couldn't continue the claim for my sleep apnea because I wasn't I was out of country.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good
So
point, man.
because I was out
Point.
of country, they were saying, well, we won't be able to open the claim back up until you're back in the States. So I
Okay.
lost out on being able to complete the claim
Okay.
until I got back. So I was gone for like 2.5 years in Kuwait. And then when I got back, I started that claim back up. And that's when I had to go back to 2014 and show them the paper showing that I had it. Even though I showed them the paper, I still had to do another sleep study. So I did a sleep study while I was in, and then I did another sleep study while I was out to prove that I kind of still
Oh
had
yeah.
it. But
They're trying to make sure
it,
they trying to make sure that if you didn't have that as bad, they're gonna take that right from you. You don't have that sleep apnea,
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. If it's not necessary, or or if they think that you might be cheating the system, they're going to treat every claim. I feel like anytime you put a claim in, they treat it like you're trying to lie. You're trying to cheat the system. So it's just up to you to kind of prove that. And if you know what you went through, and all you need to do is have the right documentation, and then just like stay at it. Don't let up. Don't wait for somebody to call you. Don't wait for, oh well, they said they no. Get on the phone, bug them, because these are your benefits. You got to fight for those things. You have to.
Yeah, most definitely, dude. Where'd you go in Kuwait? Where base were you at?
So I was at the what was it?
Beering?
Yeah, was it there? It was the depot there. So
Okay.
as a contractor, I was just there. I cannot think of the duty station off rip, but it's like basically the depot where all vehicles
Okay.
go back in to get repaired, and then where vehicles are issued out.
Okay. What would you recommend, like, if anyone was interested in doing contracting work after they got out of the military, what would you recommend them? How to get on, maybe, like, stuff like that. Anything?
Yeah, the one thing, well, some of the things that I tried. One, try to, if you can, try to do some networking with civilians that are already working where you're at. Like if you
Okay.
may know any, or if any work in your, your where your department, wherever they're at, talk to them. Also USA Jobs. USA Jobs, they're always posting for contractors, or they're looking for people to come in on the DoD side. Um, Another thing is I looked for the like the specific name of the contractors. Like, because I was a mechanic, the bigger contractors are like BAE, Dynacore. A lot of those places, they have you when you go to their websites, they have like, you know, they have a site just for people that are applying in areas in which they're looking for specific.
Yeah, like log
Um,
cap, whatever. Yeah, you got
right.
Dynacore, Floor, KBR. All yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
AECOM.
Yeah.
So you just got to know the market, like you're saying, know the market.
Yeah. Just go out there and look for those positions. A lot of the times, your MOS transitions are can is the same as something that is in the contracting world. There, if you were working in defect, there are cooks
Plenty.
for KBR that
I
work
did it. Yeah, I was over
overseas.
there.
So it is easy. I wouldn't say it's easy, but you can find, for most MOSs, you can find something that translates over into the civilian sector. Not so much for, I think, infantry. It's a
Oh,
lot
you
harder.
got private security and stuff like that, static security or whatever. But yeah, it's probably a little bit harder to get on in numbers. Not like you're going to join an infantry platoon like when you get out, type of deal.
Right. Some of those things don't translate over, but some of them do, and it is just like, go look for those things. Like I said, hop on USA Job. I mean, when I got out, number one things that I did was I got on USA Jobs, I got on Indeed, I got on Monster.com, and I went to the transition center to have them help me work on my resume. I talked to, some of my buddies that were already out. Hey man, what's your resume look like? Help me, look at what I got. What do I need to change? What does it need to look? You know,
Yeah.
what should it look like? Or, if there is a, here in Colorado Springs, we have Mount Carmel, and Mount Carmel will help you with your resume. To help you, they have VSOs there to help with your claims and things like that. So there are, the DAV helps with claims, and they can push you in the right direction for
Right.
resume building and things like that. So there are these things, but you do have to like actively go look for them, because there's no letter that's going to come in the mail. There's no phone call that you'll get that'll tell you how to do that stuff.
No, you didn't get a welcome to civilian welcome packet when you got out, man?
I think they sent it. They sent it to my old address. Might have sent it to the barracks back when I was a private. They still got my barracks address, and they just
Oh
missed
man, you didn't
mine.
get your meal card. They sent you a meal card. You could
A
use it at
real
a grocery store,
what?
bro. Yeah, you could use it at us, King Supers, Scoopers, whatever you got out there. Still, you didn't get it, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, I
man.
mean, I missed. I guess I was too hard headed, man. I didn't pay attention,
I
and
guess
and,
so,
and I,
dude.
so I didn't get it.
Oh man, or they knew you liked the Eagles. One of the two, man. I don't know which one it was, but
Yeah,
hey,
yeah. That look, there's a lot of hate. There's a lot of hate. So it's very possible that my transition officer was a diehard Dallas Cowboy fan. So I knew I wasn't gonna get any help from that
probably
point.
so, dude. So if you like the Eagles, man, just count yourself out of this one, man. You just
Yeah,
listened
yeah,
to 30 minutes of
yeah.
nothing, man. Just change your team, dude.
You just say, yeah, I'm gonna have to start bandwagoning for Kansas City or somebody.
There you go. There you go. Just jump on, man. Hey, what was
Jump
the
on.
hardest thing that you struggled with, dude, when you got out?
Well, okay, so I'll tell you the hardest thing that I struggled with was, so when I got out, when I was medically discharged, I got diagnosed with cancer. So I went from being, I guess high speed, low drag, just doing my thing as a contractor, and doing my drill on the weekends. And just one random week, I got really sick. I thought it was just like strep throat. So I went in, they told me, yeah, it's strep throat. They gave me everything that I needed for it, but then things just got worse. And we did some more tests, and I'm literally on the phone interviewing, talking to the manager, the lead for another job, and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna be ready. I'm like, my tools are coming in from Kuwait. I'm gonna be ready to go. and I was going to be working on Fort Hood at the time. And
Okay.
I'm like, this is the dream job. And I hang up the phone and they go, hey, we've got to start you on chemo treatment because you've got acute lymphoblastic leukemia, which is like a blood disorder where your body doesn't produce enough white blood cells. So this is a shock. This is a shock. I'm 34, and now they're telling me I got cancer. So I am completely freaking out because I don't know. You know, they're saying, "Hey, you're going to be hospital. You're going to be in the hospital. You're going to be doing treatments." In my mind, I'm thinking I can do chemo at my lunch break. I really was like that. I'm just going to will my way through this sickness. Like it's not stronger than me. So
Right.
I thought like I'm gonna go to work at lunch. I'm gonna go in and do my chemo treatments, and then I'm gonna go back to work. And I just had that mentality, and that's just not reality. But after my first chemo treatment, I understood no, this is going to take precedence. So it was a really hard transition because this means hey, I can't work. I can't. I tried to apply for unemployment. Unemployment said, hey, you got to be able to actively seek employment in order to receive unemployment. So I couldn't receive unemployment because I couldn't seek because I'm in a hospital. So, we had to, and I got a family to take care of. So, at first friends were helping us out, pay the bills. We did like the GoFundMe thing. And I had a lot of people come back and show love from units that I haven't served in a long, long time ago. But they saw this and they reached out. And that for me was kind of like it picked up my spirits to be
Yeah.
like, man, I haven't seen this person in 10 years and they still remember the one time that I came out and I hooked at their Humvee and brought them some hot chow when they were stuck in the field, and it just made me think like, okay, I did do the right thing. It wasn't me. I wasn't the reason I got out, but through that process, chemo didn't work. We did chemo for 6 months, and then I relapsed, and they go, the only other option we have is for you to do a transplant, a bone marrow transplant, which you have to get a donor to do. We have to send you from Fort Hood, Texas, to Washington, to the cancer center. There's only two centers that the VA will approve for cancer, and there's one in Tennessee and there's one in Washington. And
Okay.
Washington at the time was just the closer one for us. So we went to Washington. Um, None of my siblings could be donors, so we had to go with an unknown donor.
Okay.
We had to go looking for a 10 out of 10 match just in the whole database of donors. 10 out of 10 match with my type of blood type and all the other stuff that they need, levels and stuff. And luckily, they found a 10 out of 10 match. Um, and that was scary. The whole process was scary because they set me down and go, I'm 34 years old. I got, a young daughter, and they're saying, hey, this is a 50-50 deal.
Yeah.
They're like, this chemo could work or it could not. Or the stuff that we get the transplant could work or it couldn't. Or the transplant and all the treatment that we do to get rid of this cancer could give you another cancer. And the doctor was very blunt. He's like, what do you want to do? He's like, you don't have to accept this treatment. This is a program. Like there are a lot of people trying to get in this program because we're going to cover all the costs, which for anyone that doesn't know, for a single chemo treatment for a month, $20,000.
Ooh.
$20,000. I used to get my little TRICARE, explanation of what my benefits covered, and for me being in the hospital for 1 month was about 20,000.
Wow.
So I knew that if it had not been for that, that program, we wouldn't be talking. But
Yeah.
it was a really tough time. I was able to get the 10 out of 10 match. And I really wish I could thank whoever that was, because they don't know what they did for me and my family. But for legal purposes, they let you write a letter, and if they want to reach out to you after 5 years, then they can reach out to you. If not, it's just one of those things you got to kind of throw up to the universe or, God, and hopefully they'll get that kind of thanks. But yeah, I went through that, which was another 8 months in Washington, where I was sick all the time. Every side effect that they say is a possible side effect, I got. And I
Wow.
wanted to give up every step of the way, but I kept having friends come in. I kept having people come from out of town to visit me and tell me to keep going, and my family telling me to keep going. So I was like, I can't give up. I'm like, I still had the military mindset, which is weird. I'm sitting in a bed. They're telling me I might die, and I'm still like, no, I'm whole Army. Like, you can't kill me. Army don't die. Like,
Yeah.
but that pushed me through. Having that type of mentality got me through that, and came home, and the real battle doesn't start until after you come home, because it isn't like you do that transplant was successful and everything. They say that you got the green light to go home, but that is not when life kind of starts, because you still got to deal with everything that your body's kind of been through. So as of this day today, from the time that they released me back in 2019, I've had two hip replacements. I've had a shoulder replacement. I'm currently healing from a shoulder replacement that I had about a month ago.
Okay.
Um, and diabetes, like other kidney disease, like all these other things that are just these side effects from the amount of medication that they put you on and what they put your body through. I went through full body radiation. So that was kind of a rough thing, because with full body radiation for men, we can't have children anymore. So that was a big conversation for that I had to have with my wife and I, and she valued me being here. Um, and just being grateful that we do have a daughter, and we're grateful for that. But that was a rough time to go through, where they're just saying, well, hey, this might cause this, and then it does cause that, and you still got to kind of pick yourself up and figure it out, and still figure it out. And I'm still figuring it out, but I'm still like, I'm not resentful for everything that's happened, because it put me on a journey towards something that I really care about, which is helping other vets through these type of things. Because it was a dark time. I had suicidal ideation, because there's a lot of pain. There's a lot of pain, and that pain will make you think that you're alone and nobody cares. And why should you be here? You're just a waste. You can't work. You're not providing for your family. What's the purpose? Like, they get more money if you die. You got life insurance. Like, all of these thoughts, with that pain, were like real situations, to where I really had to go out and talk. Had my buddies in my corner. They tell me to go get therapy. So I went and I went and got therapy, and I'm not there anymore. But it was all the darkest parts of time that I'd ever been through in such a short period of time. Like, I just went through the gauntlet. But I'm here, man. We're talking. So
Yeah.
I'm good. I made it. I'm
Hey
living good.
man,
I got a PS5. I'm doing good.
I gotta say, dude, I gotta give my hats off to you, bro. I gotta take my hat off to you, man, because like your perseverance and just like your determination to get through it, bro. Like that's what it's all about, man. Because like it's easy to quit, right? You could have gave up, especially you got like you feel like you got the whole deck stacked against you. So props to you and your family and to everybody that supported you and to the donor. Hey man, appreciate everybody because like yeah, dude, like who knows? Tomorrow's not promised, man. But if you don't do your best and fight your best, man, you're never going to see it through what your ultimate potential is going to be. So obviously, you're still here to do work, and like we are here right now trying to help people. So if anyone's out there, you think they're going through something, it's not about comparing and contrasting. It's like try to find that likeness that we all used to have in the military, and just like take Brian's story, man, and look at it like, damn, this guy was going through all this stuff, man. So, all this opposition is going to come at everybody different, but, we're all here for each other, man. He had people popping up that he didn't know. He had people, I had people create a GoFundMe too. People got sick. Like, yeah, of course you're going to donate, man. Those are people that you shared your time with, that you pulled out of the mud, that you cooked for, did whatever for in the military. So, man, I mean, dude, like, pretty impressed, bro. Like, you got a great story, man. So, and that's definitely something that's like a long struggle. It's not like, you thought, like you said, you were straight. You're like, I'm 32. I just literally got my job back that I was doing in the military, but they just told me I had a reclass of special forces. But obviously that means the civilians are getting the jobs now, as they probably figured out with that, right? Because like they still got a demand for your job, just not in uniform. So like, right. Got your job back. I'm about to go to Kuwait, make 6 figures, make good money, take care of my family, and then you get like all that stuff just blows up, and then you have to deal with all that, man. And that's crazy, dude.
It's real. It's real, and I say, a lot of people when I tell the story, they don't feel like they can tell me what's going on with them. Because a lot of people get scared. When you say cancer, man, trust me, it opens up a lot of doors. I done got a lot of good stuff, but I don't use it for that. I don't use it for that at all, because my story was cancer. Your story could be anything.
Right.
It could be anything. Like that was, cancer was my mountain. Whatever it is that you're going through could be your mountain. It isn't small. You know what I mean? It isn't smaller than. It's never, dude. I never do this competition to try to, the suffer wars. Like, I look at it like when I was like when we were all in the desert and the sand is all in your food and in your teeth, we're all going through it at the same time. Right. And that's on top of whatever you had going on in your personal life that wasn't, associated with the military. And it's a bit of the same. Whatever's going on in your career versus what's going on in your personal life, and then what's going on with you. Like, exactly. I only tell my story to tell people that if I did this, if I could do this, whatever it is, you got it. You got it. And tell somebody, talk to somebody. Don't let your battle buddies, don't leave them with the question of why, because they want to be there. Like my buddies, I was like, a lot of guys, I think we share kind of a military, it's like a military dark humor. Yeah. So a lot of my buddies are the cruelest people to me, but it's the only way that I know that they love me. Yeah. I'm like, I was laying up in the bed, get my treatment, and one of my good battles drove all the way up from California to Washington. And the first thing he comes in and sees me, he's like, "Damn, man, you doing all this for attention? Get up, man, get up out of this bed."
Yeah.
And I was like, see, that's I love you, bro. I'm here for you. But it comes out like, hey, man, stop being an asshole. Like, your wife ain't give you enough attention. You got to get me to come drive all the way up here for this. Yeah. But I knew what that meant, and we share that. I think a lot of military members share this bit of it's dark humor, but it's all done in this loving way that always feels like love. And it could be the harshest thing that you ever hear, but it's like love. It's like, that is how he's saying, "Hey, bro, I got your back. I got your 6. Whatever you need, whatever your family needs, I got you." And when he showed up, it was just another bit of that. And I'm like, I always want to tell other people that there's somebody that was in your group. There's somebody that's in your life that wants to do that. They want to come. They want to help you. You may think like, hey, you know what? My problem, I don't want to hit them with my problems because they got problems. But that's what they're there for. I tell all my friends, I'm like, man, my number has never changed. My number's been the same since I was active duty. I'm like, never not call me, man. Call me, whatever it is. If you feeling dark, call me. I don't care. I'm picking up, because that one phone call can keep you from doing something that's going to, devastate everyone. We do matter. We do matter. It isn't about once the service is over and the uniform's off. We still matter. We matter to somebody, to our parents, to our friends, to our family, to our battle buddies that we still talk to. it matters. We matter.
Most definitely, dude. Hey, like you said about the mountain analogy, it's pretty good because it's like you could jump off the mountain, but that's not going to solve the problem, man. You got to keep going over it, dude. Like, don't go back down to where you're coming from because you're digging yourself out. Get over it, man. Like, I was talking earlier, and we were talking about the suicide rate, man. It's just 22 too many. Obviously, we know that, and we both know people we were talking before that did that, and that's not the answer. But it's like, and I guess it was kind of crazy. They said most of those happen within like the first year. Some of them even happen the first day they get out the service. And that's like crazy, man. We gotta all do better as, as one, because
staying in touch,
yeah.
Because it's hard. It is hard. I mean, when I first got off of active duty, I literally still lived around the corner from the base. And I think one of the real realizations that you get is like you still got friends, but that's not your family anymore.
Right.
Because I'm like a week or two out of the whatever of the military wheel that keeps rolling, you don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
You don't have a clue, and no one's gonna feel obligated to tell you what's going on either. So you're like, man, these are the same people that I did this, that, and the third with, and now I'm just Brian. I'm not Staff Sergeant Stewart. I'm just Brian. So it is a tough transition to make, especially if you don't have friends that you can still kind of call on. Like, it is a really rough transition. And just like you said, like jumping off of, I always, for me, when I thought about that, I was like, if I jump off this mountain, my daughter's got to see me at the bottom of it.
Damn. Yeah, dude. Seriously.
I mean, it's a tough question. I mean, or it's a tough solution, or it's a real answer.
Yeah.
And I had to tell myself that, to put myself on, to confront me about it. I was like, is this what you really want to do? Like, do you really think, how do you think she's gonna deal with this? Like, you're going through a lot, man, but hey, there's things out here. Like, she doesn't know that. She doesn't know, and a lot of times we do a great job of hiding what we're going through from our family. Yeah. And it's like, if you're not at the place where you can tell your significant other, you gotta tell somebody. Get into a group, find out if there's any kind of services in your area. A lot of things are remote now. Just like me and you were talking, we're in two different states. You can jump into a group session. You can jump into therapy that's done remotely. Tell somebody. Don't just hold it all in, because it only gets darker the more you hold it in.
Yeah. And think about the people that are around you, like you just said, man, family, friends, like that's going to be devastating to any people that love or care about you, man. Obviously, if you ever hear about that, they're not going to feel good. So like, think about others too. But like, also, hey, there's plenty of outlets. Get on the call somebody. Who cares? Call me, call you. We don't care. Like, we're trying to help people. So what was give me one word that described your time in the military.
Oh, one word. And it's like, it's gonna sound corny, but I'm gonna say fun, man.
Oh, that's good.
I'm gonna say fun. I was like, my contract was for 4 years, and I met some of the coolest, down to earth people in that 4 years that I stayed to 13. And I would have finished it out, because the experiences I had, the people I made friends with, you can't write that. You can't write that. I'm like, there are stories, we go on forever. And I'm pretty sure you got some where you're like, how is this person alive right now? Like, how are they functioning? Or how did I survive that? You know what I mean? Especially when I was in Germany, there was a lot of times I'm like, I'm still alive after absinthe and
all them long club hours, man.
Jaeger bombs and flaming Dr. Peppers in Korea, and I'm like, I'm still alive. Like, I made it through that. Like,
yeah, man.
But I was like it. There were times when you can't stand it, but the times that I had fun, I never laughed so hard. I never, I had all of that. I mean, our friendship, if friendship is the word, because I met some people that to this day I trust my life with,
Yeah.
and and they trust theirs with me. Like I will forever be there for them, and that would have never happened had I not done the things that I did, went to places I went, and actually signed up and joined the military. So I don't, I don't, I don't have hatred towards the military because at
Me
the end of
either.
the day, it's a corporation. It's a
There you go.
corporation. What
Yeah.
they're going to do, they're going to do it with you or without you. You got to go in and take what you got to make it the best. You really do have to make it the best. You can make it a prison or you can make it a playground. It's up to you.
Hey, just don't make it a playground on the prison, dude. Right? Like,
Right,
hey,
right, yeah.
hey, nah, dude, that's great. That's a great way to put it, man. Because like you're right, and I bet you got friends. Like, dude, we're different race. It doesn't matter, bro. That doesn't matter in the army, man. It's out here. They try to divide people on the news, and I'll turn all that off, man. Don't let these people warp your mind. Like in the military, didn't matter what color you were, didn't matter what gender you were, dude. You're all in it, man. Do we get along with everybody? Yeah, we try to because you're all in it for the thing. It's not like you're out. Like, dude, you went to contracting, bro. You know as much as I do. That's cutthroat. Because boy,
Oh,
when
it's
I got on my
very.
first contract, man, I had people lying on me like it was nothing, like no tomorrow, dude. Don't be mad at me because
It's
I'm 30 years
very.
old and you're 60 and I got a supervisor. So
Yeah,
I'm trying to
yeah,
feed my
right.
family. I'm not here to take your job, but that's a whole
Yeah,
another story. But yeah, man,
yeah,
you know it. So
yeah.
just
That's yeah. I'm like, no, I'm with you, man. Like the family that I got is my family. I don't.
yeah,
They don't have. We don't have. We don't. We do the best to stay out of the political, racial
yeah,
issues because at the end of the day, did you not sit next to me in the sandstorm? Were you not on the helicopter? Did you not have to listen to 21 gun salute next to me? Why?
exactly.
What changed from that point that we didn't go through that? And I'm like, yeah, I think it helps the experience. Going through those experiences can eliminate a lot of that division because
Yeah,
in the military, we're all just soldier. We're
yeah,
all just soldier. We're all just human. Everybody bleeds. Everybody goes through pain. Everybody, has to deal with some type of sacrifice.
right.
And once you go through that kind of thing with other people, you aren't so focused on what their skin color looks like or who they voted for or any of that. More than you're focused on how are they doing? How's their
Exactly.
family doing? What challenges are they dealing with? And how could you help them or just calling them up to give them a little throw some little jabs and jokes their way because they might need that, they might just need that, they might have they might already be like, hey, I'm done, but they get that one phone call and they understand like you're there. So I'm like, all my friends are different, but they're all my friends. I don't we don't get into those things because it didn't matter. It didn't matter then, so why should it matter now?
Yeah, exactly. We're more worried about who's gonna win spades, basketball, stuff like that, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
More important
When the
things.
Eagles are finna take this championship again, and
Nah,
things like
man. Again,
that. we got
they lost
robbed,
last
and
year, didn't they? Come
we
on, man.
got robbed. We got
Oh,
robbed.
man, Rob, man.
We
Come
got
on, you know
robbed.
how they do in sports nowadays, well, man. But nah, dude, you want to close out with anything because you're probably losing everyone. You're talking about the Eagles, bro. You gotta.
Oh God. If I could, man. I mean, we talked about a lot, but
Yeah, go
I
ahead, man.
just, I think for me, I keep wanting to tell my story and let people know that there's people out there that care about them. And this platform, when I tell you how grateful I am for this, Mike, like we need this. We need this. There's voices out here that go unheard. And they have a real experience. And no, they're not, like we were talking before, no, they're not David Goggins. If you don't know
Yeah.
who David Goggins is, Google him. But not all of us are David Goggins or, the American Sniper. Some of us were just trying to find a better way in life. Some of us are just trying to provide for our families. And some of us are trying to figure out like what happened, like what did we go through? Because a lot of it we don't even get the process, especially if you went and deployed a lot, or even just deployed once, or even if you had a toxic unit, just a toxic unit
Yeah.
can give you PTSD.
Oh yeah.
But you don't, the army moves so fast, you don't even get to process that stuff until you're out. And then a lot of times we get out and we have to deal with all those things and we feel broken. And we're not broken. We're just dealing with challenges, and there's ways to get through those things. I still deal with mental health issues, PTSD, all those things, but I'm still pushing. I'm still telling a positive story because there's a way through it. There's a light at the end of it. And this right here, what you're doing right here, this is a light, brother. This is a light. So I just thank you, man, and I am you. I'm going to be tuned in for every other voice that's here because we need to know other vets need to know that there are vets that are there for them.
For
We're here
sure.
for you. So
Hey, are
I'm
you
with it, man.
cancer-free,
You
bro?
got me. Hmm?
Are you cancer free?
Oh yeah.
Bro.
Look, I
Yeah,
don't look if anybody.
yo, what you got now? Get on that, man. Get on that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, if anybody was, I'm sorry if I left you on a cliffhanger on that, but yeah,
You did, bro.
I reached remission last April of my 5 year remission. I have 5 more years to be cancer free, but we speak things into existence in my family.
Sure.
So I'm cancer free. I'm going to be cancer free.
Heck
I
yeah,
might
dude.
be dealing with all this other stuff, but I'm good. Cancer is the least of my worries,
For
more
sure.
than it is. I need Jalen Hurts to be ready for this season. That's the big challenge in my life.
He ready, man, with all that money he just got. But man, I'm glad that you're
Exactly.
like you gonna need to be in
Yeah.
the best spirits you can, bro. We can't have you down and out, man. You're gonna be able to get on that cheerleader team for the Eagles, man. Eagles. Hey, Philly, rough city for sports, dude. Rough city for sports.
Oh yeah. You get yelled at whether you're good or bad. So it's
I seen it firsthand, bro. When I went to visit my army buddy in Philly, we went to a 76ers game, bro. They booed Doc Rivers and Danny Green, and then they lost a crazy baseball game the next day. Talk radio, boy, they giving it to him, man. Like Florida doesn't really have that. I don't think anyone's really from Florida. We all just moved from somewhere else and live down here. So like lukewarm sports fans down here in a sense, but. Nah, bro, it's been a pleasure talking to you. If you know anyone that's a veteran that wants to share their story, dude, you know where to send them. And for everyone out there listening, we appreciate your guys' time. Hopefully you guys gain some insight. You gain some motivation. I definitely gained some motivation off you talking. And we just appreciate you guys listening. And thank you for coming, bro.
Yo, it's been a pleasure, man. I appreciate it, man. Keep doing what you're doing, bro. You already got one. You got me. I'm going to be there. I'm gonna be there.
Like, comment,
We're gonna bring
subscribe,
some
and
more.
get me going, bro. Number one, let's go.
Yeah, we got it.
All right, bro. Take care, man. Thank you.
All right.
Later.